In the mid-90s, we built on what we had learned about portfolio construction and risk profiling and combined that with some additional skills in terms of managing clients of ultra high net worth, and we developed services for family offices. Those family offices gave us a tremendous additional set of competencies around working with collegial teams of professionals that these families had around them, working on philanthropic strategies with these clients, and also client education, because we found it was really important to the ultra high net worth family that their succeeding generations knew about money and how to deal with money and how to deal with advisors. The virtual family office that came out of this, we called it virtual because it was comprising investment advisors, typically us, and CPAs, and sometimes 2 or 3 attorneys, as well as the members of the family, and we would all get together rather than having an office someplace that you would call your family office. We got together under a set of protocols and met sometimes in person at a conference center, but sometimes on the telephone or later on we were using web conferencing facilities so that we could all share information, because we found the role of the team was important to always detect what was going on with the family, either changes in the family structure itself, births, deaths, marriages, divorces, or changes in their goals. They may have new or emerging philanthropic goals or educational goals. So we were always there to detect what changes were happening in the family system so that we could adapt their financial system to support that. So we talked about managing 3 forms of capital for these ultra high net worth families. The financial capital was easily understood, all their stocks and bonds and real estate and companies that they owned. But we also taught them to think about their social capital, which was the time that they would invest themselves serving on boards of directors or volunteering time, or money that they would give to support charities, or even the taxes that they would pay. And then we also taught them to think about their human capital portfolio, and that each of them had portfolio management techniques, so that eventually they focused just on the family unit as one that could grow great human beings that could actualize in society in effective ways. And so that managing the human capital portfolio, getting the right knowledge, attitude, skills, and wisdom to the next generations became more important, and the financial capital became that supporting mechanism. So rather than these meetings on a quarterly basis that we would have with this virtual family office, and we've called them the Family Board of Directors or the Family Board of Advisors, we would, in the first few years, be focusing on things like return and taxes and those things everybody was used to. Later on, they were really focusing on who's doing what in the family and what can we do to help them do it better. That was an idea that I conceived in the mid-90s just from trying to identify what were some of the weaknesses in the traditional models, either the traditional single-family office, which tended to serve the first generation well, and the other generations got into a relationship with it where they felt like, I characterize it as they would just have to go beg for money from the trustees. And I found that wasn't really a very satisfying result, because you end up with generations who either suffer from extreme entitlement mentalities, or they just don't have any way to promote themselves in the world in an actualizing way. And so looking at what were the weaknesses, we tried to build a model that got away from not only those particular weaknesses, but it also was a lot more cost effective than having an entrenched staff that was designed to serve mom and dad, and then hopefully took care of the kids. And as the family evolved into cousins, people that hadn't grown up under the same roof, there were real dynamics issues that we had to deal with. We got back to understanding that putting yourself on the same side of the client was very important, and Dale expressed that when he said we need to work for a fee only. We also understood that leveraging our capabilities through technology and tools and good strategic partners was very essential, and how to employ that. We understood how important it was to think about all the forms of our clients' wealth system, not just thinking about their money, because they're all interrelated. And if we don't think about them as interrelated, we can end up with problems. in the family structure, and we would consider that not to have served the family well.